YouTube, what's the deal? Come on in and welcome to Mo's Knows. I'm your host, Mose. Today, we continue in our series, The Checkup. That's right, we're checking in with all 32 teams before the start of the regular season. We started in training camp. Now we through training camp. Preseason is finished. We done with the preseason. Teams are ready to roll. We got about a week and a few days before the start of the NFL season on September 9th. So we're going to check in with the remaining teams that we have left to go in this series, see where they are, take a look at some additions, take a look at players that they lost, and kind of see where their starting lineup stands as of today. Training camp is done. Preseason is done. I think we got cuts. I think cuts are due today or tomorrow. Got to get down to 53. So hopefully everybody that you see on this list as far as the starters makes the team. I'm sure they will. If they're starters, I'm sure they'll make the team. But maybe there's some young guys, or maybe there's a wily old veteran who kind of snuck his way in. Maybe make the team. Who knows? Might be a starter, but we'll check all of that out today. We are on the New Orleans Saints. First and foremost, let's send prayers out to Louisiana, New Orleans, that area. Hurricane Ida, I believe is her name, category 4. So for anybody who is displaced, any damages, just sending thoughts and prayers to all the families and people out there who are going through that storm. It's a tough situation, always a tough situation when natural disasters come through and kind of change what you got going on. So we just want to send thoughts and prayers to New Orleans and that whole area, and pray that everybody's safe and that the damage is just to physical structures. Although it costs money, that can be replaced. You know, a loss of life, whether it is an adult, a child, or even a family pet, an animal, that can't be replaced. So we're just sending thoughts and prayers out to those folks down there. Back into the football side of things, let's start with the losses. Obviously, the biggest loss for this New Orleans Saints team, the retirement of Drew Brees. He's been a staple in that organization ever since he got there from the then San Diego Chargers. And he's built his legacy off of his performance with the Saints. Was able to take the Saints to and win a Super Bowl. He's broken so many passing records as a quarterback for this team. So to see the New Orleans Saints trot out an offense this year that does not have number 9 under center, it's going to look a little different. It's going to look a little different. It's going to look a little weird. But no more Drew Brees in New Orleans. Continuing on, no more Trey Hendrickson. This is a young defensive end, good pass rush prowess. I like his ability to rush the passer off the edge. The Saints were kind of in a tight cap situation. So he's a young player that I'm sure they saw a lot of promise in, but knowing what he would command in a defensive league that is heavy on guys who can get after the quarterback, it looks like they weren't able to meet his salary requirements. Tight end Jared Cook, also no longer with the team. Wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders. Defensive tackles Sheldon Rankins and Malcolm Brown, also no longer with the team. Cornerback Janoris Jenkins and linebacker Alex Anzalone. That's 8 solid players that they lost. Obviously, Drew Brees retired. Jared Cook, Emmanuel Sanders, Janoris Jenkins kind of up there in age, but still veteran players who can still play the game at a high level and still, be a contributing factor to a winning football program. That's a lot of veteran talent, a lot of solid names to lose. And I think if you go over to their additions, and let's look at that right now, I don't think they replaced enough people to make up for who they lost. Let's just say that. But we have right guard J.R. Sweezy that they added. Running back Devontae Freeman, formerly of the Atlanta Falcons. So he's back in the division. They added cornerback Brian Poole. I think he was also with the Falcons for a little bit. And maybe a different guy. I don't know if he's coming from the Falcons or the Jets. I got to double check that. Safety Jeff Heath. And then defensive end Tono Passanio coming over from the Chiefs to the Saints. So again, the players that they've added don't seem to measure up to the players that they lost. But again, when you're dealing with the situation that the Saints were dealing with and the kind of cap trouble that they were in, it got to a point where they were able to re-sign Marcus Williams, but there were talks that they may have to trade Marshawn Lattimore because the amount of money that he is going to command as one of the, top maybe 10, 15 corners in the league, they might not have come next season when they have to, give him another contract. So they were thinking about moving on from him and trading him now to kind of pick up assets for him instead of losing him to nothing. So that kind of shows you the cap situation that they were in and why they may not have been able to add players to the level of talent that they lost. But maybe they didn't need that much. Let's dive into the starting lineups for offense and defense, and let's see where we're at. Strength of this team is up front. Easily one of the best offensive lines in the league. I want to say top 5. Might even push the envelope to say top 3. This offensive line is really good as long as they can stay healthy. We have Teron Armstead at left tackle, Andrus Peat at left guard. Center is Eric McCoy. Right guard is Cesar Ruiz. Shout out to Cesar Ruiz, Jersey native. And right tackle is Ryan Ramczyk. Quarterback. Obviously, we have a new signal caller. Obviously, there was a camp battle between Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill. Jameis won the battle. And I think he won it decisively with what he's been able to do as a quarterback. Listen, no telling. The ball's quirky. Like, Jameis got a few screws loose. Just seeing some of the videos out of his workouts and him warming up and practicing training. Something little wrong with Jameis. I'm just throw that out there. Something little wrong with Jameis. But when it comes to playing football, he's very, very talented. He is physically gifted. He can play the quarterback position well. I think he proved that in training camp. I think he proved that in the preseason games. He won the starting job fair and square. He's got big shoes to fill. We know he's not going to be Drew Brees. But can he help this team win with the weapons that they have? Absolutely. Absolutely, 100% believe so. One of his best weapons is right behind him. Running back Alvin Kamara. One of the best backs in the league. Wide receivers look a little bit different. You may not see a wide receiver by the name of Michael Thomas. Now, I didn't put Michael Thomas in here because Michael Thomas isn't going to start the season because he's injured. Who knows if he plays another down for the New Orleans Saints? He might get traded. Once he's back and once he's running and cutting and getting back into practice and getting a little healthy, maybe teams call and say, look, you willing to give up Michael Thomas? Especially if the receiver core that they have now can step up. One of the young names that's been stepping up this preseason is Marquez Callaway. Little homie been balling. He been doing his thing. And he's built a rapport with Jameis. So that's already a good thing. Now, I'm not saying Marquez Callaway is going to come in and replace the production of Michael Thomas. It's not going to happen. What I'm saying is if they're doing well enough that Michael Thomas is not needed, why not trade him and get valuable pieces for him? I don't see why you wouldn't do that. So we got Marquez Callaway on the outside. We got Traquan Smith on the outside. And we got Deontay Harris in the slot. Those are going to be the starting receivers again because Michael Thomas won't start the season due to injury. And at tight end, we have Adam Troutman, who is replacing Jared Cook in the starting lineup. Moving over to the Saints defense, not too much change here. Those defensive tackles are missing, as we talked about. But let's go starting with the defensive front. We have Marcus Davenport and Cameron Jordan on our ends. We have Shai Tuttle and Malcolm Roach as the defensive tackles in this scheme. Saints are running a 4-3, so we have Demario Davis as our middle linebacker, with Quan Alexander and Caden Ellis as our outside linebackers. Personally, I got to see more tape on Caden Ellis. It looks like he's been doing well in camp, but I got to double check the tape and see how much he can add to this linebacker group. Obviously, the Saints feel like he's good to go, and he can contribute from a linebacker perspective. But we'll see what he's able to do filling in the shoes for Alex Anzalone. And then our secondary starting corners, we have Marshawn Lattimore and Ken Crawley. And our safeties, we have Marcus Williams, who the Saints re-signed this offseason, and the wily old veteran Malcolm Jenkins. That's the Saints in a nutshell, folks. Team is pretty much the same. Obviously, big hole left in the quarterback position by Drew Brees. But I think Jameis is in a good enough situation where if he can lock in and focus on his assignment, focus on his reads for any given game, focus on the game plan, and just play football and not make mistakes. One, not make mistakes, and two, not worry about making mistakes. Because I think that's what got him in trouble in the past. But also, two, being a little bit sloppy. I think Jameis needs to find a right balance. He can't be too overly critical of himself and worry about making mistakes, but he can't just be aloof and just out here like, I'm slinging it. He has to find a healthy balance. And I'm not a mental health professional, but I think he needs to find a healthy balance in everything in his life. But on the football field, he needs to find a healthy balance. Don't be overly concerned about making mistakes, but don't be too carefree where you're just out there doing whatever. You're in a really good situation. You have a good head coach who's a great play caller. You have great weapons around you, and you have one of the best offensive lines in the league. No excuse. You've been in the league a long time. You've seen a lot of things. You've made your mistakes. Now it's time to take it to another level. I think with the pieces that they have, the defense is going to be solid. Offense is going to be solid. This team is going to succeed or fail solely off the back of Jameis Winston. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Checkup with the New Orleans Saints. Thank you so much for taking the time and tune in. I greatly appreciate you for doing so. If you want to get in touch with me on any social media accounts, I will link those in the description below. That is one way to get in contact with me. I love interacting with all of you, talking football. The season is getting ready to come up. I know y'all excited. I know I'm excited. Got a lot of good things in the works. Got a couple announcements coming out later this week. Some good announcements, some stuff that you want to be in on, want to be involved with as it pertains to the football season and becoming a little bit more interactive. Look out for that. Got a major announcement that I can't give away right now, but that'll be coming out a little bit later. So follow me on my social media so you can stay in touch with what that major announcement is. It may change a lot of things on the channel. I don't know, but it's a major announcement coming. Again, appreciate, love all you. Before you head out, again, thank you so much for tuning in. I need you to do two things for me. Just two simple things. I need you to hit that bell icon. I need you to hit that subscribe button first, because you got to hit the subscribe button before you get to the bell icon. You can't hit the bell icon if you don't hit the subscribe button. And you want to be subscribed because you want to be tuned in to what Mose Knows got going on over here. So hit that subscribe button first. Then take another 2 seconds and hit that bell icon so you get notified every time new content drops right here at Mose Knows. Love and appreciate y'all, and I'll catch y'all on the next episode. Peace.